Hi, you're listening to an episode of NTD podcast by Dixon and Dodger. Enjoy. Hi, guys.
Oh my goodness.
Ha!
How do you feel?
Fulfilled.
Sensational. Yeah, making me feel bad anytime I try to sing.
No.
It makes me. It's
Do
fine.
you,
What do you
hey?
mean by do you? I feel like a Nigerian parent. Whoa, how far?
Everything is alright on this part of the world.
Which part of the world am I then?
Hey, everything's not alright with you.
Do you know how much 1 liter of fuel costs?
It's people that have, sorry.
What do you mean? Hey,
I'll tell you, it's people that have car generator. That first concern. I can't be worried about liter of fuel now, except on.
Do you even have electricity? Do you have constant electricity?
I'm a trekker. I dey trek.
Hey God. Do you
I
even
dey
have
trek,
constant
so-
electricity?
Shuttle, I be boss. It's not even a problem to me like that.
And the prices that are being hiked, are they not
Okay, prices of this.
of even the bus that you are getting into? You know the hike?
That's what I'm saying. I know it's boss now.
Okay, you
Brand ambassador Lex.
Wait, do you know for 1 second when you say you don't use bus? I was trying to process like, are you do you now fly private?
Brand ambassador of Lexus. So that's me. That's me.
Oh boy. Speaking of which, I saw on Twitter. Everything happens on Twitter. But I wanted to say what I saw on Twitter, but then like it's very irrelevant to the context of our conversation, so I'm just going to leave it out. And then on the flip side, I just wanted to talk about how fewer people, do you know they are not up to 500 million people on
In the
Twitter?
world. Sorry.
Like they are not up to, Twitter doesn't have up to 500 million users.
Yeah.
Do you know what that means? That means that when things happen a lot on Twitter and you feel like they're happening in the world, or for example, like during the period of elections, where like, people were having the upper hand, or even during the period of the NSAS, where apart from the fact that we were protesting, things were happening on Twitter, you have the tendency to believe that this is all of what is happening.
Or during the period of the election where people were supporting Peter Obi on Twitter.
Abi?
And they have tendency to feel like...
But that's another tangent anyway. But do you really think it was only on Twitter people were supporting him? Do you
I know it's
do you not
only
think
on...
that election was rigged?
Of course now. It's not me that said it though.
I said it.
I did say it, please. We voted him into power. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, good. Speaking of Twitter bans, they were what's it called? This is almost a month ago. It's more than a month ago. They were 2024 was like the year of beefs in music, but like I know that's not stuff that shows up on your own feed. But like it was really trending on the what's it called? What do you call that? That's Explore, Abby?
Yeah.
That's what they call it. Do you call it Explore on Twitter? I thought it's called Explore on Instagram.
The search button.
Not search button.
It was trending on the search button. But if you click the search button, that's what you see now.
Yeah, that's not. What's that column called? Is what I'm saying.
Explore.
Oh God.
Trending.
I think trending is what's called actually.
So it means you can play with you before.
Say what?
It's trending. It's trending. I'm not playing. I'm serious.
What's wrong with you? Are you okay? Are you okay? Yeah. So there were a lot of beefs going on, like to the point that even Nigerian artists caught the wave. And I think that the whole thing now, generally, people do a lot of things as publicity stunts. People just do things to get public attention and get into public consciousness. But this particular beef, it was a hip hop beef. You know Drake now. You know Kendrick Lamar. So like there was beef, and beef usually really starts on a competitive note, like who's the better MC, who's the better artist, and all of that. But it often gravitates into what they call diss records, right? Where it is I think shortly before then that I knew that a diss actually means something you say to disrespect somebody. Like disrespect. This comes from disrespect, right? And hip hop being a culture or being a genre, being a form of artistry that has a lot of influence, like on the mainstream, like mainstream culture. I mean, people had to pay attention because, for example, this, the word stan, like, oh, I'm a CNA stan, and all. That came in from hip hop. Like, there's an Eminem song called Stan, was released in, like, I think 2001. Like, he wrote it to a fan. Like, it's like, that's like one of like the best rap songs of all time. Like, and that song's like 6 minutes or what. He wrote a rap song from the perspective of a fan who was obsessed with him.
Okay.
Like, the fan was so obsessed with him that he wanted to be together. I feel like he's a guy who the guy eventually killed himself and his girlfriend. Like, he committed suicide with himself and his girlfriend.
In this song.
We don't know if it ever happened. Okay. Do you get? So he wrote the song from the perspective of, he wrote the song from the guy's perspective then. Like, the guy wrote him a couple of letters. In the first 2-3 verses of this, I think the song has 4 verses. The first 3 verses of the song are letters the guy wrote to him. Do you get? Stan wrote it to him. His last verse is his response.
Like Stanley.
I don't think it was.
Stanzy.
Yeah. No. God. Joja. I think it's actually coming from Stanley, actually. I think it's coming from Stanley. But what happened is that, like, when he responds, do you get? Like, when he's writing his response, at the moment he's writing his response, he sees that some guy on the TV, like, he actually says it in his letter.
Killed himself.
He has committed himself. Like, he was trying to tell the guy not to be like that guy on TV. Like, that he had to, he's really sorry he had to respond to this late, but boom, boom, boom. Okay. Like, he heard that some guy, about a week ago, drowned himself with his girlfriend, like, drove across the bridge. His girlfriend was pregnant, by the way. Killed himself because of his, because of his idol. Do you understand? It's really crazy. But that guy is being psychotic. So the thing came into the culture. Like, the word stan, even the word goat, like, greatest of all time, right, came into the culture from hip hop. So definitely the thing I say about how, stuff, in literature affects the culture is, like, really real. And because of that, people had to pay attention to this rap beef because it graduated into, these records. So, Kendrick Lamar, I don't want to explain the background of it because of what I feel like is more important to this particular episode. So, Kendrick Lamar said a few things that wasn't like this, but it qualifies in hip hop for what they call this is a diss towards this person, just because it calls out the person, right? It makes references. But I mean, the whole time Drake has been sending subliminals. This is what you call subliminals. Like, subliminals are this way you can construct something. That thing I used to do and say some people in this house. You understand? When you are calling your siblings, you say some people in this house, but because nobody can fault you that you are talking about them. Yes, and if somebody says you are talking about them, you can write it up and say, I wasn't talking about you.
The person don't have proof.
Exactly. You don't have anything to hold on to. That's what Drake has been doing for, like, almost 10 years now. They've been throwing back and forth, making references to things that they say, you get back and forth. Okay. So Kendrick was like, bro, I hope you're not, if you're, come up like face to face with me, like if you really feel, because everybody pitches them, people say Kendrick, Drake, J. Cole, like they're like the three-headed monster of hip hop and all of that. So people put them against each other, but all of them fight to stand out, right? Even one person had mentioned that they are the big three. So Kendrick came and said, no, there's no big three, there's only big me, right? He stood out, and so, Drake took offense, but everybody feels like Drake don't have so much audacity because also there are rumors about him having ghostwriters and all of that. But away from that, one thing about the beef, because I don't know, I had already said that one of the genres I've been following for like 2 years now is hip hop. Like, hip hop is like number 2 or if not number 1, genre I've listened to in a while. I was following the beef, and personally, I respect all 3 of them, J. Cole, Kendrick, and Drake. But now, the truth is that Kendrick is the better rapper of all of them. He's the best of all 3 of them.
Some people might come for your head anyway.
Exactly. I was really hesitant because they would think that what I want to say next is dependent on that. Like, I love Drake's music. I think it's dope. But if you deeply analyze,
check it.
If you check it, the truth is the most skilled rapper is Kendrick. Now, even factoring in whether Drake has ghostwriters or not, right? Drake's forte is because it's introspective rap. He raps about. So in fact, this period even revealed to fans the quality of things that Drake raps about. Like most of them don't have a bearing on life. Just how much money do you have? How much girls have you floated with? How much stuff have you sold? It's just really about how, it's just about stuff, and it doesn't graduate enough. I think by the time this episode goes out, the other episode that we made about how art begins to imitate life, would have gone out. And that is the metric on which, Drake was judged. Every artist should be judged on, like, how impactful is your art? Like, how does it reflect your growth? And Drake fans for 5 years now have been complaining that Drake sounds the same, makes music about the same stuff, no qualitative impact and all of that. So in the middle of the beef, right, that became an angle to consider, right? But I wanted to point out that even though that's a big blow on Drake, right? Because on the other hand, Kendrick makes music that, besides being, fun, he has some hit records. Because people will always say, Drake has more hits. Actually, Drake is the biggest pop star on the planet at the moment, actually. And when I say pop star, biggest artist, let me not say pop star, because there's Taylor Swift and his Beyonce. He's the biggest artist on the planet because I think he has the most number ones. Like, he has like the most hits for a rap artist at the moment. He even has more hits than some pop artists, right? I think the guys he's competing against are not making music at the moment, right? I think he even has equal hits with Michael Jackson, right? So, but that's one, the quality of your music. But two, the skillfulness in your rap, right? Drake only uses metaphors and double entendres, like imagery, metaphors, and double entendres. Like, that's like his main stuff. And his double entendres at highest will not be more than like a triple, right? I'm talking about in terms of skillfulness. But Kendrick Lamar uses more figures of speech. Like, when I say more figures, it's not like, there are people that, and that's the problem I have with some Nigerian rappers. When they're rapping, they sound like they just came out of a class of figures of speech. They want to show you they want to experiment what they learned, But, I mean, Kendrick is that there's something he wants to say. I mean, this guy's rap is studied in school. The guy won a Pulitzer Prize. Do you know what a Pulitzer Prize is? Mm-hmm. A Pulitzer Prize is the next thing to a Nobel Prize. Like, it's the highest prize like a creator, an artistic creator can get. For an artistic creator can get in the United States of America, right? So it's awarded in journalism, photography, music, and like people that win, of course, it's the United States of America, are mostly white people, mostly people that make classical music, people that win in that category. But Kendrick won a Pulitzer because of his use of words, right? So I mean, you can't compare. Actually, the closest in the three of them to Kendrick's skill level is J. Cole. But I mean, we came here because the second thing that this beef revealed was the angle that Kendrick used to get at Drake, which was the fact that he is a culture vulture. You get? Do you know what that is?
I'll get to find out.
Hey, make you feel like I'm chunking this up all your neck. Like, were you in a different universe?
No, of course not. Now I'm here. I mean, the term is new to me because, like I said, I am not the kind of person to
go beyond the art.
Yeah, most times. I mean, except it's usually if I see that how do I put this? Like this kind of station now where there was a beef between, I just used to remove myself. Like I just focus on the arts. Like most times all I do is focus on the arts. So I don't really know much about what's happening in the industry with the people or what's going on, who's the big three, I mean, obviously, in Nigeria, you'll know that one in Afrobeat. Like you
Okay.
always know.
Who do you
Right.
think is in the big three, by the way, in Afrobeat?
The big three that they say is the big
Okay.
three is Whiskey, Davido, Whiskey, and Burna Boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hate how they remove Olamide. I think it's when they now say four that they remove. But in my opinion, Olamide has contributed to the culture more than two of the big three. But I'm not going to name names. So back to what you were saying.
Yeah, so like I don't really know much like about what's happening in the industry if we are not talking about
The art.
yeah.
But I mean, if we are if we are being if we want to get the context for the music, and this stuff interests me because I'm a creator myself, right? And in the study of them, sometimes you get to try to understand, what was the basis for this person making this song? It's like, why did this person make this song? Like, what was this? And some people are clearly, even in the beef, some people were just looking for, just looking for music. Just drop music, bro. Just give me something to vibe to, So Kendrick dropped like that and everybody was bopping to it. Then later, I thought even in the beef, what happened was, in the beef, J. Cole responded. He dropped some stuff, but he was being hesitant in his days. And then, like 2 days, it was less than 24 hours, less than 48 hours after his stuff dropped. He came out openly and apologized. And you don't apologize in hip hop. You don't apologize in the hip hop beef. So everybody felt that was corny, especially because for years he has been, hip hop is a sport as much as it is a genre of music. And like it or not, even Afrobeat is that way. Do you get? Afrobeat has started becoming that way. It's like, who won the drop bangers pass? Like, do you understand? Everybody's competing for, if they burn you, if you feel like you are good, drop something. I will drop and I will show you. Do you understand? I've even watched an interview where Olamide said something like that. If you feel that you are good, drop something. And, so it's competitive. So, you don't apologize. Especially because if somebody calls you out, you have to, respond. But I know he had good intentions for doing that because he felt like it didn't sit right with him. And he's friends with the guy that everybody's saying he should, disrespect and all of that. So it was weeks later that everybody on the internet dragged him. Like, the good thing about J. Cole is that it wasn't online like that. Like, he's not online, actually. He just has, the platforms. He doesn't really engage. So, people dragged. In fact, the guy is so simple that you can catch him on a random day driving his bike. Like fans, weeks after, like fans were just catching him on the street, just driving a bicycle, not even a motorcycle, a bicycle. Do you understand? So, I mean, Drake now responded. Then he responded. Something he does, he responds twice just to give the other guy, to give the other person, to give the person those breathing space. And then Kendrick responded like, it was less than 3 weeks. Less than 3 weeks after, Kendrick responded, and then responded again. And then when Drake responded, Kendrick responded 20 minutes after. Like, you might just drop a record. I already dropped the record 20 minutes after. It was just really crazy. And then he now dropped another one that now went number one, like became a hit. People were using it on Instagram for reels. People were using it on TikTok. And he was really, in fact, clearly calling out Drake for being a culture vulture. And a culture vulture is really somebody who takes from a culture, who appropriates a culture without being deeply involved in that culture, or without being deeply involved in the culture, or crediting or actively participating in the culture. I don't know if now that I've given you a definition, you can think of something similar that looks like that. I mean, if you go back in history, you did fine arts in school, Navi? Can you remember what they said about like the whole Benin art that was stolen from Africa?
I don't remember what that thing was about because I didn't like fine arts.
You didn't like fine arts?
I don't remember.
But I mean, you've seen what's it called, Black Panther, the Wakanda.
I have seen.
Do you remember the episode where I think it was Michael B. Jordan at the museum, and he was pointing out how a particular artwork was stolen from Africa?
I don't remember.
In fact, this is even the basis of the Wakanda. Do you remember the Black Panther?
It's been a few years.
Come on, when the Wakanda dropped?
It's been a few years now.
Few years.
Uh-huh.
When did you see it?
when it dropped.
Okay, not bad.
Yes, I don't remember much about it, but I know that yes, there were some what.
The basis of the movie is that the basis of the movie itself, because Wakanda has more technology in the movie. It has more technology than the rest of the world, and he's hidden in plain sight,
Okay.
right? And eventually, when the Westerners discover Wakanda, they want to exploit it. In fact, the argument really is, you guys have this much technology, bring it and come and use it to develop the world. This is a quote of develop the world, though, but it's a quote. But really, what they are saying is they want to appropriate it. They want to use it to fight their wars. They want to use it to own superior technology, like the US does, and like you get.
Yeah.
So, the case the movie is even built on is the fact that, Africa is already, capable of its own advancement per se. Do you get that? The colonial masters came and like appropriated the culture. Do you get? And many of the stuff that were stolen from, like, we call it stolen because they took it from us, but we did not, like, it's like many of them, they came, and that's why people also have problems saying things like, they say things like Christianity is the white man's religion, because they don't know where to draw the line between the colonial masters and the guys that brought Christianity. Actually, Christianity came into Africa before the colonial masters did. Christianity came in before the colonial masters. Like, yes, Berlin Conference was years after the missionaries came. But people often want to put it together, because what happens is, some guys use the basis of, oh, this your art is juju. Do you understand? So discard it now that you've found a new religion. Discard it, right? Yeah. And in the guise of discard it, they now took it and now want to use it to decorate their own museum. I don't know if you're following.
Okay. So that's what happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that's why many people hold grudges against the Christians, because they feel like, oh, you guys came at it's more like a, what is it called? Stuff happening together, you confusing stuff that happens together as, confusing, what do they call it again? Causation for correlation. Correlation for causation. That is, something happened around the same time. We are now saying it's the thing that caused it. So that's a very clear example of cultural appropriation, which is different from cultural appreciation. Like, when you think about it, because cultural appreciation will take from the art, will credit it,
appreciate the art.
You will appreciate it. Wow. And that's the problem also people have against many Westerners. Interestingly, where it's not only Westerners that do it. Also, we do it sometimes.
We do it sometimes. Or to Westerners.
To ourselves and to Westerners.
Give me an example
of doing it to ourselves. But within the African continent, there is the Amapiano did not originate in Nigeria.
Okay.
Amapiano did not originate in Nigeria. Amapiano is South Africa. It's like South African sound. But I think my first interaction, like, and I think it is the first mainstream engagement of Amapiano with, like, with mainstream audience, is when Davido did this song Focalistic. You know the song?
Yes.
I the catch cruise forget.
If you talk, you collect. It was just Nigerians on that song.
Down. No, that song was already a Focalistic song. That's a remix. Davido jumped on the remix. Do you get? That's like the first. I feel like that was my first, like, that Focalistic song came in 2020 or 2021. 2020. 2020. Are you sure it wasn't 2019?
I think it was 2020.
So it came around that time, and then the sound became very. I remember Davido now did another song with Focalistic, but before he did the song with Focalistic, people already started biting off it, and there's this thing where people milk sounds. For example, when Runtown's "Mad Over You" came out, I don't know if you know "Mad Over You." The songs that followed after that we beat off that beat. They milked that beat. They milked the beat. My God. So over time, we make, now the Amapiano that comes from South Africa will always be native, will always be very original. right? But we make a lot of piano stuff, and we make it look like it's our stuff. In fact, there was
Do we?
a Twitter, what's it called? You know, all these Twitter bans, which is the basis for this podcast. Twitter bans. There was a time where, you know, me, I'm just an observer on there. You know me, if I go there, I just go there to go observe. So there was a dragging, just the same way we used to drag jollof. Say which jollof is better, Nigerian jollof or Ghanaian jollof. Actually, it's Nigerian jollof, but all due respect to, you know, to the Ghanaians.
People say all due respect, the thing they want to say or the thing they've said is not nice.
No, yeah, but I mean, I'm being respectful. If I wanted to not be, I would have said, no. Okay. I remember somebody said that they gave their cat catfish. I was asking, is it catfish or fish that is cat?
I don't get it.
You don't get it? Mm-mm. Is it fish that is cut into pieces?
Oh my God.
Catfish.
That's not fair. It's not. I'm not in support.
No, I'm not in support too. It was somebody that said. I'm just telling you what somebody said.
Thank you for telling us.
It's all good. So, but that was a deviation. Another is, you know, with the rise of features. I mean, for instance, recently the Shwala Bam song with I think Tito and this guy was remixed by Burna Boy, which I absolutely love. Burna Boy's verse. I mean, I've seen the other remixes. Then there's one Davido that was leaked. Davido did. I don't like it. There's one he tried, but I don't really like it. Victoni did too. I don't really like it. The Burna's verse on the remix is good. But then if you look back in the past 3-4 years, Burna has been on the remixes of big songs like this. Songs like, for example, was it Jerusalem?
Yeah.
That Jerusalem. I can count like 6 songs that are like this, even minus Ashake Sumba. That the songs were already big, or should I say, and it from like a different culture, right? That people do this. I know it's for commercial purposes, and also it benefits the people involved because the thing goes on the wider, gets on a wider scale than it couldn't have gotten, you know, without that particular artist. People do this in where they use features. Do you understand? I'm using features to add. You get? I'm using yes.
A particular culture.
Yes, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
But you're really biting into the culture, and for somebody like Burna, who after this, I remember when he was about to drop his, I told them, when he was about to drop his, I told them project. That is his last album. There was an interview. Did you just do your interview and go? He wants to make himself distinct from the genre. Say that the genre is empty. You get? Said that Afrobeat is empty. I'm like, what do you mean? You are part of the people that make Afrobeat. You get? So you cannot be talking like this. Especially considering if you are somebody who has, you know, been your records, the evolution of your sound was not originally Afrobeat. Like he was doing like dancehall, was doing like reggae. He wasn't really doing core Afrobeat until like 3 projects ago. Not 3, 4 projects ago. But he has dropped enough projects in 2020. Like the project that came before African Giant, that's Outside. There was Outside, African Giant, Twice As Tall, Love, Damini. And I told them, wow, he has dropped 5 projects since then. Wow, that was fast. Jesus. That was very fast though. Wow, there are weeks when nothing happens. There are decades when nothing happens. And there are weeks when decades happen. Isn't that quote before? Mm-hmm. That was fast. But I mean, everybody's now coming to even recognize him as quote unquote the African Giant. African Giant is a name that he appropriated. You know, if you look at it, there's a song he did called Odogu, right? He's not even Igbo. Do you understand? But everybody knows him as ODG, Odogu. He appropriated it. Like, I mean, because he did the song. Everybody calls him Odogu. Everybody calls him, what do you even call him again? This one, I think it's, I think it's this gorilla. Like, what do you call it? There's something, forgotten. There's what they call, you know, Africans. Like, he is the face of the culture. He's sort of come to be, you know, recognized as the face of the culture. You get, like, over time. And I mean, he has contributed to it, no doubt. But you cannot be the face of the culture and you are lambasting the culture. Do you get? You can't be doing that, especially when you are somebody who has taken enough from the culture. That's not a good sign. Sort of reminds me of, what's it called? Drake and Afrobeat. The thing that was said about Drake, actually, it looked to be true. Because if you consider him and hip-hop, within hip-hop too, he has taken a lot from the culture without being very, very participative in the pains of the culture. But me, I don't even want to talk about that. What I want to talk about is him and Afrobeat. I don't know if you know One Dance now.
Yeah.
You've heard One Dance now. Have you heard Control? Is it Control?
Controller. The one sang Wizkid.
We say he sang with Wizkid, but
That's
how
what
many
they say
places did you
now.
hear his voice? How many places did you hear his voice? Even they say this One Dance that they say he sang with Wizkid. Wizkid's voice is the background. Is a background at the end. It's a background sound at the end.
His voice is Sade.
Hey, that's what they did with Thames. They used her vocals from a song she made. So, and I'll not take for granted the fact that I would say it's Drake that blew Afrobeat. Now, Afrobeat had been in the making for a while. Right? Afrobeat has been in the making for a while. But, after that Ojo Elegba remix, I think that was a very pivotal moment. After that Ojo Elegba, which, by the way, is my favorite Wizkid song. After Ojo Elegba, Drake did the remix on it. Afrobeat took off, right? So we cannot deny the fact that, he took the culture to, another level. But how participative? One Dance is Drake's biggest song. Okay, now God's Plan is up there, but like, till 2015, 2016, One Dance was Drake's biggest song. And this is coming from a culture that, I don't want to be attacking. He makes great music and stuff, and he used his platform and he gave. I even watched an interview where he said, okay, he credited, which is not a problem. But, there is this tendency, and I know it's because of our hustle to try to take our stuff to the wider audience. We tend to subject ourselves. Look at the Lion King album that Beyonce did and called A Gift to Africa. What do you think about it?
First of all, the fact that it's called A Gift to Africa sounds like she's not African. She's not African.
Okay.
She just made, let's say she's like Taylor Swift made an album.
Okay.
A Gift to Africa.
Okay.
So it sounds like I'm not African, but I love you guys so much.
No, I think she actually said that it's because she recognizes her roots.
I understand. Okay. Well, I'm just saying that the fact that it's like a gift to Africa is like, I'm giving you this thing because it's like I'm not African.
Okay.
I'm just, because I like to associate with Africans.
Okay.
Let me give you this album as a gift. That's what it sounds like to me.
To you?
Yes,
Okay.
that's what it sounds like.
But they packed a lot of African artists, and I don't know. I don't want to. Not that I don't want to know. I don't know so much about where the proceeds from the album went and all of that. I know that that was an incredible album. I love Brown Skin Girl. My favorite is Already, the one he did with Shatawale. I also love the video, and that lady's hardworking. She works hard. She works really hard. In fact, even the song that Burna features on, I think it's called Jara, something like that. He said he doesn't know how he got on the song. Like somebody they just sent him, sent him something, and he didn't know where the song was going to land. He said, "Who sends you?" He said, he doesn't know, because they asked him if he has met Queen Bee before. It's like, no, that he hasn't. That he doesn't. He doesn't know. So it's they just gathered the artists from across Africa, the biggest artists, and money can buy many of those things. That Beyonce money is the type of money that can buy it. You get? So there's that, and even though it has received positive reviews, do you get? Even though it has received positive reviews, there is the fact that it's still taking from the culture, and it's taking from the culture, it's appropriating the culture, actually. And like I said, it goes both ways. I'm of the opinion, Sha, that whenever you're latching from a culture, you have to respect it. right? You actually now I don't know that's the reason why this episode is just is like a part one, right? Because I'm hoping that we can do an open episode where people also contribute after they've listened to this particular episode, contribute their own thoughts. But I have some few thoughts on how you should go about appropriating a culture rather than just taking from it and all in the name of what you want to make. And it's really popular in music. I think it's because music is like the big thing. Like where they sample a lot of African sounds. Even This Is America is off an African sample. Lift Off, Kanye West Lift Off is off or an African sample. Which other popular stuff I've heard, right? I can't remember now, but there's that, and it is also present in literature. It's present in literature where they are writing. I mean, they're trying to include, and sometimes they misrepresent Africa.
Okay, I get what you.
You know, they're trying to jump on a wave. You know, they're trying to jump on a wave, and then.
I'm trying to think of a typical example.
Okay.
No, like I can't remember anymore, but I know. I can't remember, but how it is that they are trying to describe like something in Africa.
Have you read Children of Blood and Bone?
No, I haven't.
But have you seen No?
I have it on my phone, but I'm not ready yet. But how they are trying to, I don't know. I think they're trying too hard, and they now say a lot of wrong things, or they misrepresent the African culture, all in the name of we see you and we know you are there, and let's just include you in. I don't know.
Crazy, really crazy, and I think it's the reason why I'm sound like it feels like I'm mini ranting to you about it because it affects me in a way that, and that's the reason why when we, especially our movie sector, like, of course that's why we started this podcast. When our movie sector was affected by like that globalization mindset, where we were still pretty English, like now I understand that English is a lingua franca, but when you are. You know, when we shoot all those native movies now, the people in the movie are supposed to be barbaric, but they're speaking polished English.
Yeah.
Do you understand? Now, I don't care if, you know, they don't necessarily need to be barbaric like that. I mean, they can use native language to communicate. You can give us subtitles.
Yeah.
But you see where you guys are clearly, you say your stuff is set in a kingdom. We know anything kingdom, right? I mean, they're definitely contemporary kingdoms, but anything kingdom is pre-colonial Nigeria.
Yeah.
Right? Nigeria without so much English. You get. Your folks are walking on barefoot. But people are communicating with
the one that I know
dexterity.
is when they're not even on barefoot, they are wearing slippers. Like they wear slippers.
What's the problem with them?
I don't. Me? Slippers.
Then the prince will be.
Or when the princess is by the river and then the English you need to speak to her maids. You're just like, excuse me.
It's the identity crisis.
Are you coming back from the abroad? Because like I don't get it.
It's the identity crisis for me. Like
I think I seep so much into even us as Africans. It's where you see a movie like Jagu Jagu or one of these Nigerian movies.
Wait, but Jagu, you've seen my Jagu? Okay.
Like proper Yoruba throughout the movie.
Okay.
And then people are now complaining like, why are they speaking Yoruba? And I'm just like, sorry, it's a Nigerian movie.
It's a Nigerian movie now.
Yoruba is our language. It's one of our languages. So why are you complaining? I don't get. What is it? What's the issue exactly?
I think that and this happened to me when I went to Europe, right? That time I was in Austria. What happened was, by the way, first of all, an Austrian's English is not that good, right? Okay. They majorly speak Deutsch or French in Austria. Because I mean, I was Germany and then Austria, but they majorly speak. Do you get? They majorly speak Deutsch. Do you get? So English is a second language to them, but there is this inferiority that comes with trying to bend your English to sound like their English in order to communicate to them. So I was with a friend of mine, Lutachuku Udenta. Shout out to Lutachuku Udenta if you share this. So we were together, and I'm calling his name out because he was like the one that pointed the thing out to me. We were outside. We were outside. Just one of those we were outside moments. So we met people. I think I forgot where we were going, and so we wanted to. I forgot what we wanted to do, but then I think we want to take pictures. So we needed someone to help us. Or no, we're engaging. We're just engaging with this woman. And then it was a couple of engagements. We had done that over time. Like we had done because we were there for over a week. So we had engaged with a couple of people. And then what happened in that interaction was when we left the interaction, he pointed out to me the observation that whenever I was speaking with them, we are trying to accentuate our English like them, just so that they can understand us. Like, why are they not the one that bends to understand? Like, the one I was speaking to you now, I'm speaking because you're Nigerian. Like, I'm speaking English, obviously, but I'm speaking to you like I'm Nigerian. Like, this is Nigerian English. But you know what I say, can you come here? Do you know where I'm accentuating my English like that? Just because of how your own English sounds. It happens to us and it puts an inferiority, like, I don't want to call it a complex because that would be too heavy. But it puts that scale. And they think, watch this, some of these our Nigerian artists when they are, the British that comes out from their mouth when they are on interview. Even the one that shocked me the most was when Zinoliski. Do you know Zinoliski? Yeah. Zinoliski's music is in Yoruba, but Zinoliski's British accent, the way it came out.
You remember that video that we saw? Said, everybody now speak British.
Everyone now speak British.
Oh my god.
Everyone now speak British, actually.
Everyone now speak British.
So. So it's something that's very disturbing. And we will not also, we will not undermine the fact that CNA, our dear CNA, has said, definitely, I think it's a culture she participated in and actually wanted to highlight. Hence her doing this. But then, if you notice, she does a lot of Nigerian in Western setting, her stories.
Yeah.
Even the that love thing borrows from, in fact, it brings a lot of, say Nigerian love, no, they really did like that too. Nigerian love, no, they really did. African love, no, they really did like that. But that flavor, and you can tell, because even when you listen to her, she says that a lot of her background is in, reading Western works. Like, she didn't think that there was, like, she felt like writing about things in her context was strange. Now, that is not why she's writing like that, though. She's writing like that because she had experienced something in the West that she wanted to point out. But let's not forget that it was taking off of that, right? And it was bringing our stories and putting it there that gave our stories that type of acclaim.
Yeah.
You get Chinua Achebe wrote stories, but it was always set in Africa. You get the other writers wrote, but it was always set in Africa. And I mean, it's of course a clear case for art to reflect life, but let's not undermine that. She has chopped from Western culture, and it's interesting that she keeps criticizing them too. Nah, they tire these people. They tire these people. So I mean, what can be done, in my opinion, I think I just have 2 or 3 thoughts. Of course, we'll continue this episode, hopefully on an open episode. But I have 2 or 3 thoughts, and my thoughts are based off of the implications, right? Like, the implications of what they are doing on the source culture, right? The first, like I've said, is that misrepresentation. The idea, like, the stereotypical, I just randomly remember when I was in secondary school, and then my CR teacher, oh my God, said that he was trying to share an experience or something. So that white people believe that we still live on trees. The African says, so you will live on trees? So the black man, the man hysterically answered, yes, we do. Said, yes, we eat bananas. We jump from one tree to another. We eat bananas and we jump from one tree to another. We can break coconuts with our bare hands. So I think it is what is it called? It is the misrepresentation and stereotypes. That. And second, right, the fact that the economic implications for now, both economic and industrial implications for those African creators. You get something like something like that, Lion King. I don't know how the split was made and all of that, but one thing is for sure, that the large bulk of the money will go to, do you understand?
Yeah.
The large bulk of the money will go to Queen Bee. That's the truth. And that is always, their claim will go to her and all of that. In fact, I've even found that in recent times, with the use of ghostwriters, this thing is even behind brain drain now. What are you saying? Some of our traditional medicines, that's why it sounds like a rant. I'm ranting to you. Some of our traditional herbs are very medicinal. That they have become patented, what's it called? What do you call it? There's something called intellectual property. It's become, I don't know, I can't fetch the word immediately. I can't fetch the word immediately, but it's been something that, it has been usurped, really. So to think that the benefit, if these things are done from this culture, like the culture has to benefit from it in a way. So some of even this featured type of stuff, these artists or the whole distributor type agreements that some of these Afrobeat artists have with these Western guys, they don't really profit off it that much. And this, I'm saying this considering that, like, it feels like the entertainment space, the entertainment sector is the only thing that's working, especially when you think about Africa. It feels like that's the only thing that's working. We are booming. But how much money are we really making from it? The amount we make from it in sales, for example, Spotify or some of these streaming platforms that our music go on, or you get the album sales, we don't make so much money from it. Like, the bulk of the money still goes to the guys that own those platforms, goes to the labels that help with the distribution. So, like, how much money are we really getting, right? How much money are we really getting from this? Like, how much economic benefit are we getting? And I think the third problem I have is the fact that over time, if you notice, there's a tendency for the culture that has been appropriated to get eroded. To vanish. Because that blend, without proper crediting, without properly crediting or participating in the culture, makes it look like the other one is superior. Is the case with globalization, right? It makes it feel like that other culture is superior, and then eventually wipes out this other culture.
And the culture itself, they need to get used to it.
Yeah.
And accept that these other people actually are superior. And so I think it also gets to the point where it is that we are not being appreciated. But then it's like, do we actually deserve to be appreciated?
Yeah.
It just begins to like, let me give you an example. Let's say somebody, this is a very bad example, but just follow me. Like, let's say somebody takes an African beat or takes, using someone's beat as an African. Let's say if a white singer or a foreign singer or something, and then in your mind you know this thing is wrong, this person should have done this. Like, if you're taking my beat, you're supposed to pay me a certain amount of money or something. But then it's like,
you feel privileged.
It's like, what do I even do to deserve it?
To deserve it, like, you feel privileged.
Like they should even take it seriously. At least they are taking it. Like
what kind of victim mentality? What kind of a Tok syndrome is that? Like, really crazy. And I even heard this one. I think a friend told me about it one time. Even, I don't know if you know this Oja piano that Casey did. They were using flutes. It was
okay.
That flute. Now, that flute played is part of the Igbo tradition. Like, it's core to the Igbo tradition. Now, no doubt Casey is Igbo and all of that. Casey is the one that made this one. I think he called it Oja piano. This period I've seen many things that have piano at the end.
People don't like keyboard or drum. You want to use drum?
Oh God, no. I'm on piano. I'm happy I know. In any case, he saw the boy, like, there was a boy that made that flute instrumentation. So he saw, now that flute instrumentation, I heard, is part of the Igbo tradition. That is, it's played for all of these big men, so Dogus, Ogbefis. You play for them. You know, they are the one that you play for them. They'll spray you money, all that type of stuff. You understand? Yeah. So the boy, it was a small boy that he did it, and Casey saw the sound, loved it, used it, took the boy, recorded, and then did not compensate him. And then, just because, the boy cannot do anything about it now. So they agreed, so he didn't compensate it. So it was a lot of back and forth. He didn't compensate. Because he's a boy. I think the boy's he's not up to teenager self. So you know what now happened? The boy now he's the one of the sound now. So he now created it for somebody else. And for two other people.
My God.
So by the time he saw now that when I was told the story, I was like, wow. By the time he saw now that this will become commonplace. And people had to drag him also. People drag him, but you know, his brothers e-money, so they know money is not the Allah. So I was even wondering why they did not compensate the boy. Right? And this is us doing it to us. I don't know if you get.
Yeah.
That type of thing is just really crazy. So I think eventually had to pick the boy up, and then they had to do some signing and everything, and then settle the boy and helps the boy's career and all those type of stuff. So, and that's the first thing I advocate that is done, right? Or I'll say in this order, first of all, before you engage any culture, I think a lot of research, proper research should be done. I think proper research should be done on the culture in order not to misrepresent it, in order not to proper research should be done. And because it will show you ways in which you should credit the culture. And second, I think fair compensation, right? I feel like if you compensate, not just money. Compensation is not really only about money. It's about you have to acknowledge that sometimes some people, because they are really big, they are already big. So it will look like you said, like them, that the ones doing the favor. But you have to acknowledge that this sound is not your sound, or this stuff is not originally yours. It's not originally yours. You have to give it credit, right? Make the person stand on their own, even though you are the bigger or bigger creator. And then finally, in my opinion, I actually think that if there's room for collaboration, it should be a healthy collaboration that involves. I'm trying to think of a. I was thinking about Peru. I think about Peru, but I don't want to call that as a. There should be more respectful collaborations. I remember at the time of P Square. The songs that were done were I think an example of a respectful collaboration I can think of is like Chris Brown. Chris Brown's artistry so far.
That's
Chris Brown with Davido, Chris Brown with Mona. Chris Brown is like he has indigenized to become an Afrobeat artist.
This calling Chris Olubenga Brown.
Where did Olubenga come from?
That's him on Yoruba name.
He's done a great work when it comes to. Anytime he's putting stuff on his album, he makes it like there's this. For example, Whiskey, they call me everyday song. You can be. This is an Afrobeat stuff, right? When he did stuff with Davido. When he did the remix with Mona Lisa, even this is, if you Jones, they go give you uppercut. But have you heard his verse of the song?
No, I think.
If you hear his verse, you will laugh. It is worse than a share. It is what? No, Instagram Reels, you hear the video side now. I don't know, no. Just they go give you uppercut. If you hear the way he pronounces uppercut, Davido can speak with their accent, like with an Atlanta accent or like you get an American accent. But when he wants to say something Nigerian, the switch will be clear.
Yeah.
So when he says it's uppercut, but when Chris Brown wants to say uppercut, he said the video said when the money don't they come like curse. Chris Brown said the money don't they come like curse. It's worse than a share on Peru, but. I think that's a respectful collaboration. He always wants to bend himself to fit into the culture, right? And he acknowledges it, and I really love it. So those three things I think is what can be done for now. But this is just me ranting, right, about the fact that I don't think it is satisfactory, right? I don't think it does us any favors, and I don't think it should be condoned. Really, I think that we have so much to pride in. And that in itself is the premise of this podcast. Let me stop here before I carry talk, finish it. This one, the entire time, Doja was just humbly listening to me. So good. Till the next one, guys.
See you.